everybody, it's Holger Mueller here from Constellation Research. Welcome you to episode number 72 with my fabulous co-host Liz Miller. How are you doing, Liz?
I'm doing well. 72. 72 is a darn good year, Holger. I like 72, so I'm going to say that this is going to be a great episode.
It's realistically our retirement age, right? So 65, 67 realistically.
Yeah.
Unfavorable population, 72. If you listen to it,
Maybe.
That's going to be a retirement age, I think. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm just thinking, that's the year I was born. Let's just go for it.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Happy New Year, right? So first episode.
Happy New Year. I know. It's the first time I'm seeing you in the new year. Did you have a good break?
Exactly. Yeah, can't complain. Switzerland is always nice. Snow safe. Good skiing.
Yes. Switzerland is so... yeah. Switzerland's nice. It's great.
Somebody has to do
Someone has to do it. Someone has to go buy all the chocolate.
Watch my soccer team win 2 times, lose 1 time. So, yeah, you can't win them all. But
there you go.
You have a good start to the new year?
I did. It's been a good start to the new year. And you know what? In technology, Holger, I got to tell you, we ended the year, we ended 23 with our Enterprise Awards show. And one of the segments that I distinctly remember us all talking about was the fact that there were no big mergers. There was no big M&A news. There was there's one big one and a couple of little ones. And oh my God, it was so boring. And IPOs were so boring. There was only one. So apparently the business world clearly tuned in and listened to us because let's get right to the news. We got a couple things going on.
Yeah, the business world really sandbagged, right? I mean, HPE was out of the bag buying Juniper Networks, right? Very interesting one.
Huge. That's
huge, large one. Big gamble from Antonio Nerian team. I think it's gutsy. It's big valuation, but pretty thin value because they basically they had an acquisition of Aruba Networks 8 years or something ago, which put them into the software-defined wide area network, which is basically changing all consumer experience, employee experience, because you walk in any office or any hotel, only one time you registered and you always have your Wi-Fi. Very big on productivity, but it was never big enough to swim, big enough to not sink, not large enough to swim. And now it has a definition of that. It also gives HPE a nice chunk of true cloud revenue, right? HPE is doing this hybrid cloud thing with on-premises. And it has large charge of, I'm going to say it the first time on the show in 2024, AI revenue.
Please don't. Please don't. Oh, come on, Holger. I thought you were going to get through this year without that. Come on.
Yeah, I thought we would be over this AI stuff. But yeah, so congrats to the HPE team for a good acquisition. So
it's a big one. It's a big one.
More excellent Wi-Fi experience.
But you've had another one, this week. I want to say last week. You've got another acquisition pop.
Yeah, just happening. Ceridian went back to the acquisition well, and they acquired Well, I lost it. We have to say this again. Can't believe it. What's the name?
That's why we have Hannah. Start it again.
All right, up again.
Okay, you had just someone pop like last week. I want to say the acquisitions keep coming. You have another one.
Yeah. Ceridian stroke again. They acquired European-based, Denmark-based eLumi, strengthening the talent management game in a very important area of learning and development. They were partnering in the space, not building their own things. Now they have their own capabilities. Which is really important, especially in the current talent struggle time to get employees qualified with the right skills for the right thing. It's the yin and yang to the whole skills matching that everybody's doing. So great acquisition by David Ossip and team over at Ceridian. Congratulations.
I think with every single big time of acquisition, and it certainly happens a lot towards the start of the year, right? You have people looking at their operational costs and they're starting to look and try to figure out where they can trim things down. I think last year, especially, in the frenzy of generative AI, you had a lot of folks trying to just double down on their team, trying to get the right people in. But we're already starting to hear rumors of some layoffs that are going to start happening. And Google, the CEO has said, there are going to be some layoffs, maybe up to 1,000 that could be happening, towards the beginning of the year. So I think we're going to start seeing that. But interestingly, something else is happening, and this is a word of warning or a caution to folks who are looking at those layoffs as part of your operational, rigor. Always think of what that employee experience is, because there is a new phenomenon that's also kicking off this year, which is everyone who knows that they're going through a round of layoffs, recording it on the TikTok. That's right. Layoffs have suddenly become a huge TikTok trend where their employees are actually videoing themselves getting laid off. They're videoing themselves having these conversations with their HR folks and hearing how these layoffs are happening. And when we are now looking at all these different ways that consumers are starting to worry, is AI going to make my experiences a little too impersonal? Am I going to have to talk to bots all the time? I really want to talk to people. We're getting this nervousness that's starting to kind of build up in the consumer psyche. Now they're sitting there watching all of these videos of how some of their people, how people from brands that they love to do business with are being treated. And it might not go the way everyone thinks it's going to go, right? So suddenly employee experience takes on a very new meaning in the TikTok generation, Holger.
Right, and it's the TikTok algorithm, right, which places popular content next to each other around the same brands, right? So authenticity in the message. We're saying we're so great to our employees, happy employees make great customers.
We love our people, right?
Hopefully we had to go for this reduction in force, right? So it's going to be important to see, right? And save the message in an authentic, trustable way, because you want people to keep doing business with that brand, right? So yeah,
absolutely. Authenticity and trust also big in the news. In December, we didn't get to talk about this towards the end of the year, but a couple things happened towards the end of December. You had the FCC here in the States come up with some new law or sort of new clarification to the TCPA coming out of the FCC, closing a loophole for lead generation and lead generator sites. So now they have clarified that yes, text messages that are auto-generated and auto-sent are in fact part of the do not call or do not text registry. So you now need that one-to-one direct written consent that actually shows that a consumer has explicitly agreed to have telephone-based, text-based conversations coming from a seller. So, it sounded really big. And I think when the headlines first popped around this happening, people got really worried, especially in the world of marketing, right? Oh my God, now it's like the GDPR apocalypse all over again. And now we can't text people. Now we can't call people. Like this frenzy happened. But the reality is that this is really about, and it's the Protection Act. Like it's TCPA, it's Telephone Communications Protection, Consumer Protection Act. This is really meant for, a lot of those sites like, mortgage consolidators. You go on to Rocket Mortgage and you sign up, or not them because they actually do a really good job, but you go on to like a loan consolidation site or a mortgage site and you sign up to get 5 different quotes, and all of a sudden you're getting 50 different quotes, and then you're getting text messages about loan consolidation, and then all of a sudden you're getting emails about credit cards, and it has ballooned into a point where it's almost like predatory messaging, and consumers are sick of it. They don't want to hear all of those things. They want to get the message that they signed up for. I signed up for X. I don't need to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and everything else. So I think that, the FCC is really looking at this as a means to protect consumers. They're looking at carriers to find more rigor into how they can actually block some of these bad actors. So, I mean, I think that the general consensus here is if you are doing the right things right, you're going to be okay. The new loophole closure in TCPA isn't really going to weigh you down. I had an opportunity last week to talk with an expert in compliance, Jesse Bird, out of a contact center solution called TCN. Had a great conversation with him. I'll be posting a blog about it at some point this week to get some details around TCPA for those of you who have been wondering. So that's coming up. I know everyone's going to be waiting, breathless anticipation for more regulatory breakdown from Liz Mueller. But
it basically is the knighthood of the SMS or text challenge, right? Which was always the auxiliary challenge. So you give me the phone number, I can send you a message. And now you can transact and have to take it like email, like social media, like WhatsApp, and so on.
You have to treat it like it's a phone call.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to treat it like it's a phone call.
You treat it like a veritable channel.
Yeah. And I think the reality is that for those brands and those organizations that treat that information, that treat that consent as the digital manifestation of their customer that's now existing within their organization, and they treat it with respect, and they have a holistic strategy of how they are going to manage that consent into creating better experiences. Those are the experiences that win, and they're the ones that matter, and those are the ones you remember. It's the ones where there is no strategy and it's just spray and pray. And, I found a number. I think I'll text it. Like that's the nonsense that needs to stop. And I think that most marketers err on the side of, no, I'm going to respect this. Like there's going to be a reason. So that's why we see value in things like your package has arrived, or your payment is due, or you're overdue on your payment. That's a value to us as a consumer. If it's not a value, just strike it off the board. Do everybody a favor. But to look for that from the folks from TCN. They know an awful lot about compliance. They've been in payments for years, so they understand kind of the ins and outs of how you can and cannot talk to these folks. So some good stuff coming up from them in my conversation and my interview with Jesse. So thank you guys for doing that. Okay, so what else is coming up here, Holger? What do we got in this episode? We got a video from you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk about something which I recently did with IBM. So I don't want to tell more, spill the beans. To what we did there.
Nice. I'm going to be coming to you guys talking a little bit about what's coming up, because you know what? If it's January, if it's Q1 of a year, it means it's shortlist season. That's right. We got shortlists coming at you.
Let's do a shortlist duet, I think.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna have a whole choir number. It's gonna be great. We might maybe get Taylor Swift on it. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. But yeah, we got a bunch of shortlists coming at you. I'll do a little preview, remind y'all what shortlists are about, maybe even give you some inside scoop on what some of my shortlists are saying for this quarter. But other than that, listen, it has been great covering the news. 2024 is going to be a wild and crazy year because, Holger, I'm just going to ask you for this. 2024, what is it? Okay, if we have to admit that 2023 was a year that everyone realized what generative AI was, what's going to be the wake-up moment in 2024? What do you think's happening this year?
Yeah, I think the race is really on for bringing structured data to generative AI, which we've not been able to do so far. So if anything of the database content will be available for generative AI, then I could say, give me the top 10 sales reps who have a positive performance review and who have digital assets that they speak Italian fluently, then all hell will break loose in the combination of structured, unstructured data being available. If that's going to happen, it's a big question. It's a big if, right? There's different approaches there. Everybody's building AI vectors. You could embed code, which is creating that real time. There's even some people who half a year started brute force generating text out of their transactional databases, so generative AI algorithms could transverse it. So that combination, then you've not seen nothing yet on that, because that's really the value. We have all these polished transactions where we know what people have bought, what they like, what they've consented to, like we talked on the SMS side. When that is available for generative AI, then we'll see all hell break loose. And this could happen this year.
Yeah, interesting. I keep looking at this and here's the line in the sand I'm going to draw. 2024, absolutely we're going to talk about data. Couldn't agree with you more. But 2024 is going to be the year we have to start talking about security outside of the bubble of security. Because you look at all of these players, you look at Amazon, you look at Microsoft, you look at Oracle, everyone who has all this data traversing all of these databases. We got AI not only extracting things out, we got AI putting things in.
Yeah.
I just feel it in the back. It's like the hair standing up on the back of my neck, right?
Yeah.
We've got to have a different conversation. We have not fully had the substantive conversation of what is this about to do? Like, how do we really double down and get serious about security as more than an operational constraint? I think that this is going to be a year where we all start looking at security, or at least hopefully we all start looking at security as something that's not that guy's fault.
What I just hope is that security will not hold the generative AI progress back, right?
Amen.
Because we want to be like, do it and ask for forgiveness later. So if the security conversation will come up, it will be in the second half. Because everybody who could use security as a naysayer, the data is not clean, it's not ethical, all those bullets have been shot in 2023 already. I see no bullets to be shot anymore from the security, privacy naysayers to the generative AI.
Not from the ethics, certainly not from the ethics and privacy. I'm talking security has to be the next
conversation. Something terribly goes wrong, like always, right? If whatever, ChatGPT and Bard and whoever else all leak confidential information.
Didn't kill us all.
Right? Didn't kill us all, but if something bad like that happens, then of course we're going to have a big security break. Maybe even the heads of state come together to align for the first time globally on something. on paper, of course, not in reality, right? But
I would not be surprised if there's a big nasty breach. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think security will be later, and maybe AI is going to solve security.
Well, I think that, I think AI, could solve security, but I think what we're going to see first is AI actually creating probably one of the bigger breaches that that we can't even imagine yet. So if you think AI is creating data that you can't imagine, just guess what happens when we turn AI, when bad actors turn AI on. Because it's not like only the good guys get it, right? Like, we can't live in that world.
We've seen this in Hollywood the whole time. Similarity with living people and so on is totally coincidental. We just hacked your data, but it's coincidental because you fuzzied it up by 10%.
Totally just happened. Oh, gosh. Well, you know what? Listen, welcome back, everyone. This has been CRTV. We're glad you're here for the whole episode. Stick around for the conversations, and let's go.
Thanks for watching.
Hey, everyone. Liz Mueller back to give you a little bit of a perspective on CRTV about something we've been talking about for a really long time, at least in the marketing industry we have been. And it's been about the long farewell of the third-party cookie. Yes, Google has been threatening this for years now, getting rid of them. No more third-party cookies, right? And it's been one of the longest goodbyes I can think of in a really, really long time. But the day that we have been preparing for, the day that we have been looking out for, it is coming, and it is going to happen just about as slowly as this whole roll-up to this date has been. But it's happening. Here's the scoop. After years of warning, after years of me mocking things like the cookie apocalypse, as of January 4th, about 1% of Google's population now does not have those third-party cookies reaching out to them. In fact, Google restricted access to third-party cookies for 1% of its users. To put that into perspective, 1% of Google's global users is the state of Texas, like literally the population of the state of Texas. So it's about 1% of the population, but that's also a really large number of people. So it's kind of got some advertising-based companies a little bit nervous. So what does that really mean? It means that this is the start of what Google calls a gradual transition. It's a gradual ramp up as they push forward towards 100% global users having restrictions and being third-party cookie free by Q3 of 2024. So that gives us 3 quarters to see this number slowly start to tick up. Now, Google understands that this isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be this really fast roll-up. We're hoping that the ramp up to all of this and all of the discussions around the elimination and the blocking of the third-party cookie has really left a lot of our big brands, a lot of our advertising organizations, a lot of our websites already implementing alternatives. Of course, Google has an alternative with their new privacy sandbox. They are really looking for alternatives that they can provide to measurement, to targeting, finding new ways to target and engage with audiences through different cookies. It's important to remember that this does not banish all cookies. This is about third-party cookies. We also have to remember that the rollout is underway, but the rollout happened for a reason. Consumers really started to have enough. They didn't want all the third-party cookies that really didn't provide any transparency into who was collecting their data, what data was being collected, what it was being used for, where it was going. There were a whole lot of questions. And so rightfully, people started to look into this. Now, first and foremost, if you are still worried about what's happening with the deprecation of the third-party cookie, take Google's advice. Audit your sites. You do not know what you do not know. And that adage does not change here just because we're talking about something that sounds delicious like a cookie. If you don't know the third-party cookies that you're using on your site, get really up to speed really fast. It should not be a shock that Google has tools that allow you to do this. Now, my recommendation, to be very honest with you, don't just use one thing. Don't just run one audit. You're going to want to look in a couple different places. You're going to want to go ahead and use Google's tools. You're certainly going to want to look at where these, look at those auditing pages. Look at what is listed, as something that is not same site. You're also going to want to start looking and searching manually. You never know. You never know what's hidden there, and it's going to be really important that we make sure that anything that is advertising based we're either moving away from, we're phasing out, or we're starting to use other Google products if you're looking at that Chrome extension. But it's really time to start thinking about what consumers really want us to be doing, what they really want us to be using and connecting with. So don't forget those actual third parties as well. Your third party providers may already have a cookie that is dropped onto your site. Ask them, what's their plan? What are they doing? When are they starting to roll that back, roll that out? Are they looking at things like partitioning? Are they already involved in Google's privacy sandbox? So there's a lot of questions that we should have already had. But now, if you haven't had them, now's the time to absolutely do that. But here's the truth. We have been preparing for a really long time. And I think a lot of marketers have gotten really smart about those first-party data requirements, building those direct relationships, building those consent-based relationships, where not only our customer knows when we're collecting, why we're gathering this information, why we're personalizing, what personalization looks like for them, what does targeting mean for them, why is this a benefit? We're having more open value exchange conversations. At least we should be. So regulators didn't necessarily start all of this. We have to remember it was our customers that started all of this. So this is really about the best practices, about how we want to engage, how we want to measure, and let's not be lazy about this. Let's actually go out there and stop looking at cookies as a way to justify or, counting our engagements and justifying our investments. This is really about how we're choosing to personalize, how we're choosing to collect data, how we're choosing to engage. And if that's through a digital channel, so be it. We can't necessarily always blame the third-party cookie for the things that went wrong. So what do we need to do? Absolutely follow Google's advice. Let's get those audits rolling. Let's make sure we understand how we are deprecating these. Now, if you are a site that believes that your functionality is going to break because of the third-party deprecation, there is an out. There is a window of opportunity where you can have more time to figure out how to resolve some of these issues. Keep in mind, these are strict guidelines Google has put in place. They are not going to give extensions to anyone who is an advertising or ad-related business. So if you're trying to get an extension because it's ad-related content, you want to get an extension because there's you're not going to get it. Okay. Google is only providing extensions to this deprecation for those sites and those properties where functionality is actually going to be damaged. So we're talking about privacy. We're talking about access. We're talking about all those SIAM use cases, right? So if you are in that spot, you've got about until April 1st to go ahead and be part of this program and ask for that type of leniency. And to be part of that program, you'll have to have those tokens. You'll have to have everything in place by April 1st of 2024 to be part of that exemption and part of that extension program. Otherwise, the advice is audit, fix, get your personalization and your targeting in check, because there are better ways and there are different ways to do this. So the cookie, well, she is a crumbling, but there are lots of other ways. And I think we're really prepared to go ahead and walk into this cookie-less future.
Hello everybody, it's Holger Mueller here from Constellation Research, here to talk to you about actual trends in serverless and about one specific product, which is IBM Cloud Code Engine. We'll talk about the benefits of servers in general. We talk about what IBM Cloud Code Engine does specifically, as it supports multi-role developers. It is a one-stop shop for getting everything done in your serverless place, and how that is a very simple offering characterized by simplicity, obviously. So why is multi-role so important for building modern software? Persona-based development is something which has come to enterprise software in the last 20 years or so ago. It's coming now to platform as a service, and specifically to serverless or IBM Cloud Code Engine. And it's been designed specifically for container Kubernetes developers, PaaS or even Cloud Foundry developers, batch job developers, and serverless function developers. All of these roles benefit from the pay-as-you-go infrastructure and setup and payment of IBM Cloud Code Engine, meaning that you only have to pay for what you consume. It also had built-in security, and there's private networking between your applications and your code, so nobody can kind of like look into that and see what's going on. So let's dive into these roles and look specifically what is happening there. The container and Kubernetes developers don't have any steep learning curve. They just use their existing environment as they want to. IBM Cloud Code Engine runs containers for you, and you can keep your Kubernetes tooling as you're favorable with it or familiar with it, and go to or switch to the IBM Cloud Code Engine tooling if you want that, if you see that as more suitable for you. And then for PaaS developers specifically, don't focus on infrastructure, focus on the code you have to build. It automatically manages security for you. It automatically manages versions of code. And that is good news for anybody who comes from one of the older container-based development systems, which is Cloud Foundry. Big difference, big upside in productivity here, and ultimately developer velocity. For those who have to move code around, batch job developers, typically in ITO and DevOps, you just have to submit your batch jobs. That's all. The existing one as you have. There's a feature in IBM Cloud Code Engine which says run to completion, which means it's been taken automatically almost to the point of finishing it. All the scaling is taken care in IBM Cloud Code Engine, and you don't have to worry like typically with all of serverless. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure. Last but not least, very important for the serverless world is the developer who is building serverless application, and there's specifically functions. Functions as a service is very important, very well supported in IBM Cloud Code Engine. It runs your event workloads for that. There's no need for you to manage code, and it scales your code like in the previous other use cases. So 4 functions really well supported inside IBM Cloud Code Engine. Let's look next at the differentiator, which is the one-stop of the offering. If you think about what you need for running a container environment, right? You need a multi-tenant container service because hopefully you have multiple people using it. You need some ways to push the source code to these different environments. Typically that is done in batch jobs because nobody wants to be around for 24 hours. And then of course it's all about function as a service. You want to be able to develop functions. When you compare IBM Cloud Code Engine to other potential options where to run, and specifically the cloud vendors like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and IBM we do, but Google Cloud, then you have all different servers for these 4 different things, which means these 4 different servers have to not only be up and running, they also have to work seamlessly for you, and you become the integrator of that. In comparison, IBM Cloud Code Engine runs this all together in one single place, which makes it simpler for you. If it's up, it's running, it does your container multi-tenancy, it does pushing your source code automatically, it does your batch jobs if you have any, and it's a great environment for function as a service. Which comes to the point that it's a conceptually very, very simple architecture, right? It's built on standards, so you know exactly what you're running. It's using Knative, it's using Istio, and you just push your functions towards as you build them there. You run your applications on containers there. You run your batch jobs there, and any containers, Kubernetes containers you want to bring, it runs for you. This is all I have about differentiators for IBM Cloud Code Engine. This is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research. Thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting for you. Please be social, be vocal. If I missed something, if you disagree with something, or if you agree with something, please let us know.
Okay, Holger, that was us. That was it. We've got episode 72 is done. We have shared with people as much as we can share. How do you feel?
It's in the can. Thanks for watching. Always fun. Appreciate it.
Next up is going to be, of course, the far more serious, the new news, the newsies. Diane and Doug are going to be coming up with episode 73 coming up, dropping in a couple weeks here. It's been great. Thanks so much for joining us. You can always follow us at Constellation R on X, at Liz K. Miller, at Holger MU, and at CRTV _show. Is that it? I think it is. Let's hope. Have fun exploring forward, everyone. See you next time.
Don't miss the D&Ds. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is as good as it's getting with my sweatshirt because I'm not changing. Dink.
Wow, that hair gel really makes a big difference.
It really does make a big difference, Holger, I gotta say.
Because it's Futterer, which you can't see.
It's totally, you can't see it. You can't see it. But here's what I'm gonna say to you, Holger, and this is being recorded, so Hannah now has it on record.
Yes.
Your haircut took like 10 years off of your look.
Wait,
Like it makes you 10 years longer.
Take off my beard.
No, it's like yeah, you don't have to take off the beard, but like legitimately, you look 10 years younger without the brown.
Yeah, now I have to get ID'd all the time. I get carded.
Yeah.
It sucks.
You get carded. Everyone wants to know how old you are. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you just put some hair dye in there, you'll look like you're 30. No problem.
Oh, no, don't look like that guy. No, then you'll look like you're 80, because then you're that guy that's using the Grecian formula to get his hair back. Like, no, just rock the gray. Oh, good.
From experience of never using it, at least one time, dye, it's better to have more salt than pepper.
Right. You need more salt and pepper. Right now, I have it's like 50-50, so it doesn't look cute.
Oh, your jeans are holding up well. If you start to get
like the ones, right. So like they're persistent, they're eager to be part of the party, but the brown isn't quite ready to let go yet. So it's just like what's actually happening in the world of technology that we should care about right now? Is there anything? It is exhausting.
Looking right?
It is. You're looking very sassy. I'm telling you. You're looking very healthy.
It's a new year.
You're looking young.
Wow.
Look at this, Holger. It's like a brand new Holger. Meanwhile, I'm tired. I've been sick for weeks. I just want to go take a nap.
Holger, yeah.
It's going to be 2024. It's the year of Holger.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Let's just lie our way through the news.
Yeah.
Fake news at Constellation Research. Two news and a lie coming to you from Yeah, you figure out.
Well, even better.
News.
Two fake ones and a lie.
News. No,
two fake news and a lie.
Moral of the story for this CRTV: technology is hard.
Yeah.
It has been 34 degrees in the evening here in beautiful, sunny Los Angeles. So like legit cold weather. And watching people deal with 34 degrees in this town, no one's prepared. There is not enough Arctic goose down. There is not enough, people are, I legitimately saw a woman who I thought she was going up to the Himalayas on a hike. She had the full fur lined.
Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, I'm I'll put a sweatshirt on.
And flip-flops, right? So this is a funny thing, It kind of breaks down with something, or fully tiered up but shorts, or fully tiered up and no gloves, right? So okay, get a complete outfit.
Brr, my feet are so cold, but my calves are not. I don't understand this. I don't understand what's happening.
The coolest calves in Southern California.
Right, pick a zone, and that whole zone has to be cold. So if it's from your waist down, you get cold, the whole zone is cold. Not part of it, the whole of it. This is also why Hannah hates filming CRTV with us, because we have talked about not a goddamn thing for 43 minutes.
Cancel the next 3 appointments here.
Fine, we'll talk about technology. Damn it. Is this how we do it? Is this how we do? Is this... It just looks weird. I did it. Look, wait, Holger, and we're both wearing black with the red.
Forza Milan in the cloud,
Okay.
Let me
get serious here. Do this. Yeah, let me go. Hang on.
Get hydrated. Yeah, I was giving you the signal to slowly get there, but no, okay, it was good. That's good.
Well, we made it.